Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce, my name is Nadia Syafitri. I'm from Geography Education. Abstract. This paper argues for the interrelationship between migration process, dynamic of landscape structure, and sustainable livelihood-based domain that study is Kalimantan, now as a hub of oil and gas and mining industry, as well as plantation and housing area for fishing communities. Using anthropological approach, data was collected using a range of methods, including observation, GIS-based spatial mapping, household survey, focus group discussion, and in-depth interview. Findings of this study showed that the long process of landscape change affected community livelihood due to differential resource allocation, intensive migration assurging, alongside rapid industrialization as not only increased competition between different interest groups, but has also changed local spatial configuration. Nonetheless, findings also highlighted integration between differential groups which are also influenced livelihood. Such process is a form of smart response in showing community resilience and ability to share living space by minimizing conflict. Introduction. In the study of development and meaning, there is a recent trend to look at the ways in which meaning has affected economy, social, culture, politics, and environment. A meaning arrests the rise in strong interaction between internet migration, spatial transformation, and the flow of social lives. Internal migration has also affected housing patterns, where disparity between places become an important factor in migration flows. A distance gradually lost its appeal in the migration process. This is important to understand migration from the ways in which characteristics and the macro context of migration feed into each other. The macro aspect in the determinant of migration process in the context of Indonesia's internal migration. Labor migration to and from agricultural area has increased significantly. Simultaneous land acquisition has transformed agricultural area ensured a large scale into industrial farming and forest. The environmental change and its adverse effect and already had an impact on the migration destination, although this mainly concerned internal migration. The ability to migrate is therefore not only depend on economic stability but also on the socio-ecological context of the place in which people live. This is crucial to examine landscape production and reproduction process, especially at mining areas, to examine trans-local livelihood model as a link and conceptual framework of migration and development study. Tafokolnia, Kalantari, and Fani, especially at coastal areas where of the total population of Indonesia depends on their life. In Indonesia, research on migration and landscape has found different process and time on each variant of landscape accultural. State organization and spontaneous population movement have been part of development program of Indonesia government. This is aligned with the link that landscape transformation is not only relation with physical, but also symbolic, cultural, and political change. Land use land confer change on area in space in the outment or a result of natural and social economic factor and how men make use of in particular time and space. In the context of this paper, the landscape created economic power such as mining activities in strategical places to discuss fisherman community livelihood. There has been an increased number of studies looking at the relation between mining and welfare. In this paper, spatial formation is traced from migration history and economic expansion process to important determinant factor in the formation, transformation, and immigration of physical and social space. It is important to investigate the kinds of socio-spatial dimension which is produced due to large-scale mining intrusion. The transformative role of livelihood to village house. For both men and women, especially women burden on patriarchal society. Sustainable livelihood requires participation and social capital development. It is important to place landscape study in the context of human spatial manifestation in search of footing in life. To understand space as product and context of action. This is product rather the given it is production to conceptualize physical space to be inherent with the quality of social space. The study with this paper is based on Tugas framework as a point the part to alongside sustainable livelihood approach that the shrink context livelihood research. Babington et al. And are often categories between 5 or more different asset types owned or acquired by family members. Human capital, physical capital, financial capital, natural capital. In conceptualizing space in position and something to be transformed by people entirely through constant use. That is why the livelihoods are seen as important drivers of landscape change. In this study, migration is positioned as a crucial determinant for landscape change to be understood, meeting the context of economic, socio-cultural, and other spatial formation processes related introduction research. This paper will discuss the link between migration, landscape transformation, and fishermen livelihood. First, the way in which migration affects landscape dynamic will be discussed. In the second section, the contestation between physical, ecological, economic, and socio-cultural space as well as interaction process of incoming migrants in the social life on such space will be explored finally by describing local fishermen. The approach used in this article is political ecology. Political ecology is a research approach that observes nature, society phenomena. Political ecology attempts to understand the complex relation between nature and society through a careful analysis of what might call the forms of access and control over resources and their implication for environmental health and sustainable livelihoods. Referring to pollution, this approach fields review action related to local community resources and that connect them both with their local social networks and with the broader political economic arrangement. Political ecology generally refers on analysis of the economic political environment that combines several discussions of the action of resource uses and their relation to the broader process that make up the social and physical environment in which they act. Political ecology envisions the social relationship in which actors are embedded and that influences the way they uses the environment rather than that the collection human environment interaction of a set individuals. Political ecology assessment that alert social structure and political economic process will influence the action of local resource users. Political ecological research as consultants show that beneath the apparent abstraction listed of socio-ecology relations, structures and injustice, this needed a better understanding of the relation, structure and injustice. This paper demonstrates how political ecology perspective within mixed dot approach can contribute to the study of landscape transformation, particularly in the context of now host society experiencing a like process of migration and macroeconomic such as introduction. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.